Welcome into the studios of WWPT 90.3 FM. It's the $20 album. I'm Henry Manning here alongside Charlie Scott.
Yo.
And, we come in here into the station a lot, and we talk about music and movies, and we talk more about the artistic features of these mediums, but I think one thing that isn't talked about nearly as much is the business side of things, like how these art forms, specifically music, are presented to us daily for our consumption.
Yes, absolutely. And the question that lies within that question is how and where do we get our music? But in order to answer that question, I need to go into another question within the question. And that is the history of how we got our music. Now, when I say we, me and Henry are 18, so this doesn't necessarily apply entirely to us. We're fairly young, I guess, in comparison to people in the world. Yes, in radio time, indeed. Now, speaking of radio, we used to get music from independent radio stations.
That's right. We used to get it from, DJs sitting in the sticker-covered walls of a DJ shack, kind of like me and Charlie are here right now. And they had program directors who would give them the music, and it was all, specialty served for that area. So if you tuned into New York, you were getting the New York version of what music was hot, and if you tuned into Detroit, you were getting the Detroit version of what was hot, and it was just what the DJs wanted to hear and what they wanted to play. So you were getting really, culturally significant moments here from region to region, and even just from station to station, be they miles down the block from each other.
Yes, it was very personalized to the DJ and the people that were running the station.
Exactly.
However, in 1996, there was a Telecommunications Act passed. And essentially what this did was it changed the rules for the communications industry to increase competition and innovation. But for radio, this meant that bigger companies would buy smaller stations, and this led to few owners, and basically it led to less content directors, and it led to less of that specific area feel, and local shows and music became less common, and it became monopolized in a sense.
Exactly. All the radio stations kind of formed into a bunch of large conglomerates. So instead of getting, local station here, local station there, you got all these stations in an area. And why pay 10 program directors when you could pay just one? So all the stations started playing the same thing. And that's kind of where we started to lose out on that hyper-regional, that specialty music that was served up just for you. It wasn't as personalized anymore. And so that was kind of a problem, and that changed how we get our music now, because all the music, or not even now, but 10 years ago, it changed how we get our music, because instead of being personalized, it started to become more of the same, and there started to become kind of just a similar list of songs played every single day around the nation.
Yes, exactly. And Henry, hate to break it to you,
yeah,
but as we kind of get closer to today,
yeah,
it's happening again.
That's right. It's happening again. Charlie, it's the rise of the algorithm, really. It's happening again with TikTok and with Spotify. These songs that are going viral on TikTok's kind of has a conglomeracy over all the radio stations now, because they control the charts. The songs that are popular on the charts, the top 10, the top 100, they're all the songs that are popular on TikTok. And so whatever TikTok, and specifically the TikTok algorithm, wants to show people is the song that will get played on TikTok, on the radio stations, on the charts. It's literally controls the entire music industry. So it's created a conglomerate again, and it's the same thing that's happened. We're losing out on that regionality, even if there wasn't as much regionality as there was before. And I think a perfect example of this is $1 Million Baby.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of that song.
I mean, look, as much as I hate what it stands for in terms of the music industry, I do think it's a sweet song and a sweet sample.
Yeah. But for context, basically, this song, literally, it's by an artist that nobody has ever heard of before, and it popped up on TikTok one day, and then all of a sudden, it's top Spotify, it's top Apple Music, it's top Billboard.
Yeah, you can't go 5 steps without hearing it somewhere in a store, on your phone. Like, Spotify has been plugging it to me. Like, I've been listening to whatever song I put on. I click a song on Spotify. The second song, so as soon as my song ends and Spotify gets to queue up a song, it's always $1 Million Baby. Like, their shuffle is not random anymore. Yeah, and it's a good song, but the third time that happens, I'm sick of it, and I hear it all the time now.
Yes, and that's one of the biggest things that I think TikTok does negatively to the music industry, at least personally, is I just like some of my favorite songs just get overplayed. Another good example that I like a lot is Let It Happen, Tame Impala. I love that song. 7 minutes of just like angelic sounds. But after hearing it, like I gotta say I think it would be safe to say over 5,000 times on TikTok.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe estimate.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, which is
way.
just insane. It kind of gets old. But I mean, I still love the song, don't get me wrong, but like after that, it's just like, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great song. I love that song too, and it's happened with numerous other songs, not just Let It Happen. But it's like, again, like TikTok, like it or not, is controlling the music that we like and the music that we like to listen to. And which it's funny you say that because you get your music from TikTok.
Yes. A big conversation in our friend group, whether it be we're hanging out at the bar, like for example, we just had our Memorial Day cookout, and so a song would come up on someone's aux. I think it's our buddy Zach Abramwitz's aux. And a song would come up and I'd be like, oh, hey, I heard the song from TikTok. And then Henry and Zach would turn around and look at me and be like, no.
Yeah, because the songs there shouldn't be TikTok songs. Like they're well-known popular songs from before TikTok was before the internet was even conceived. And Charlie turns around. Charlie's, in my words, has fallen prey to the algorithm. He believes that they're TikTok songs, and like it right in front of my own eyes is an example of what's happened in the music industry.
Yeah, and I think it really kind of comes down to what the individual person prefers, because I'm not a big music person.
Right.
I'm more of a movies guy. That's just who I am.
Right.
And I think that TikTok has benefited me in such a great way because I've expanded my music taste per se, although it might not be a specific taste, but you get what I mean. I've expanded my
your horizons.
I've expanded my horizons a lot because of TikTok. Like I recently have started listening to more Radiohead, like for example, exit music for a film or No Surprises, because I saw it in a movie edit on TikTok and I thought it sounded cool.
Right.
And these are bands. I don't know if Radiohead is a band or a person, actually, to be completely honest, and there's more TikTok reasoning why it's ruining the industry. But anyways, I would have never listened to Radiohead if it weren't for TikTok.
Right. And so like there is positives and negatives to TikTok and the music industry. Like we talked about all these negatives, but then there's the positives of Charlie finding Radiohead, or even finding like less successful artists. Like Radiohead is very popular, but there's artists that I've found that like they're releasing their first song, or they have 5,000 followers or whatever, and it's good music and it helps. It's a way for artists to get out there into the world. But again, they're never going to get big unless TikTok wants them to.
Correct. And I think the major issue with a lot of these companies like Spotify and TikTok is transparency. I, for example, did a news feature story just the other week where I was talking about how certain executives, their goal is to get you addicted to their platform and get you interested and keep listening and keep scrolling. And you had a good word for it earlier. I forget what it was, like the doom scroll.
Oh, yeah.
Doom scroll. Yeah. And one of the words that was talked about by our superintendent of Stables High School was dopaminergic. It's just they're trying to get you in and they're trying to suck you in with these algorithms and to get you scrolling more.
Right. Which, makes sense on like social media or YouTube. I know YouTube has their algorithm is like the way that it like learns is how long do they keep the viewer on? Like if they suggest this video or this video, does the viewer click on it? Which, although it is bad, does make sense for them as a business. But for Spotify, the Spotify algorithm shouldn't be trying to hook me, but yet when I press shuffle, I want it to be random, but it's not random. It's plugging $1 Million Baby, or it's plugging the songs that I've been listening to, because the Spotify shuffle is not random.
It is not. And I think this is where a choice for the listener should come in. I think a great way and a great step for the music industry to take would be to opt in or opt out of this. And look, Spotify, I doubt they will ever admit that their shuffle is not randomized, because I think that would just be kind of a scandal.
Yeah, but I think everybody knows it at this
Everybody
point.
knows it. I agree, but they're never going to admit that in paper. However, I think if they did, it actually could be beneficial for them, because I think they could introduce a feature where people could opt in or opt out for this algorithmic shuffle. And I think what that would do is it would help people like me, because I would be someone that would want to opt in because I want new artists. I want to learn more about music and get into it more and find new things. But it would also help someone like you, who's more of a music purist and would like to find that music on his own.
Yeah, and what's crazy is Spotify already has a program like this. It's a feature called Smart Shuffle, and if you toggle on Smart Shuffle, it plays, you know, your songs, but then not every other song, but every couple of songs, it just suggests a song for you.
Yeah.
Which is great if the default shuffle
wasn't already
algorithmized. Right? Like, when I press shuffle, I want it to be absolute, just random, just play a song. And then, like, there shouldn't be because there's songs that I hear over and over again, and there's songs that I never hear in a playlist or in an album. And that's not the way it should be.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. And it all comes back to, you know, how we get our music. And I think people should choose how they get their music. If you want it to be an algorithm, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's great. Technology is there for a reason. It's there to aid us and assist us. And if it's there to help us find new music, then it should be able to be used for that. But then again, some people don't like that.
Right. And I think one of the greatest things about everybody having, you know, an entire music library on their phone, like literally in your pocket, is you don't have to wait till your favorite song comes on the radio again for that DJ in the booth to play your favorite song or a song that you like, or if you don't like that song, to skip it. You can just play whatever you want, but the problem becomes all of a sudden you're not playing whatever you want.
Yeah. You're playing what the industry, what TikTok, and what Spotify want you to hear.
Exactly.
Well, at the end of the day, I think it's important that music stays music, and it's the art form that we all love, whether we're choosing to listen to certain songs or not.
You know, I think you're right. And you know what else is at the end of the day, Charlie?
What?
Night. Good night, folks. We'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to WWPT 90.3 FM.